Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a very interesting video, and what's so interesting about it is there's only a few updates we're about to go over. Some of these are like, okay, that makes sense. Some of them are potential leaks, or like, I kind of thought that as well. And then one of them is debunking a Zelda leak, which I guess in theory could be true, but then following that up with another massive leak that is so specific, I'm kind of inclined to believe it. And that's talking about when we're actually going to see the first gameplay trailer for the Zelda Ocarina of Time remake. So let's go and get right into this video. I almost didn't make this video like today. I was going to save it for tomorrow so I could add some more topics, because I like to add a bunch of stuff in a video so I can make sure that you're, getting your worth out of my videos. But everything we're talking about today it's so interesting. I think it's still worth making a video for. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe. I just want to say thank you so much for 33,000 subscribers. Now let's hit 35 million. What are we doing here? And also follow me on Instagram and Twitter so we can keep the communities growing. And let's just go and get right into this one. So the first thing I want to do is talk about Nintendo Online, which, I still think it's a fantastic service. I think it is great for the value, but it does leave me, wanting a little bit more out of it. A lot of you guys who watch my videos often will know that the GameCube is my favorite home console of all time. Not because I thought it was better than the Xbox or the PlayStation 2, but that's just a console that I got when I was little because it was the cheapest console at the store. I'm pretty sure I got it on Black Friday for like $100, and it came with that Zelda disc that had like an hour of the Wind Waker. I think it had Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time and maybe something else. So, ever since then, I was just locked in to Nintendo. I had that and I had my Game Boy. There was no hope for me not to become a Nintendo fan, right? So seeing GameCube on Nintendo Online, it's fantastic. I think these are some of the best games that Nintendo's ever made that hold up incredibly well. But what is going on with the GameCube service? Now, I'm doing this off memory, but I feel like the last GameCube game we got was Pokemon. I want to say in February for Pokemon Day. I want to say that's true. So every month you're like, okay, well, if it's not this month, next month, we're definitely getting a GameCube game. But that's just not the case. And it's not like we're not getting Nintendo Online updates. We just got some Game Boy games, I think, recently. And then a couple months before that, I think maybe some NES games or something. So what the hell are we doing here? It just makes zero sense to me. So I'm reading an article right here that says 2 new GameCube games revealed for Nintendo Switch Online ahead of time. Those games are Super Mario Sunshine and Pokemon Colosseum. I thought we would get Pokemon Colosseum before Pokemon XD, but it is what it is. Now, Super Mario Sunshine is a game they should have dropped in June, right at the start of the summer, which is funny because that's actually when I started playing that game. That's my favorite Mario game of all time. It's one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult Mario game that I've ever played, and it makes me rage all the time, but I love it dearly. It just feels like home to me, you know what I mean? Like, I love the music, the setting, just Mario has his sleeves rolled up. It's a goofy game, and I love it. So what is Nintendo doing? What are they waiting for? So hopefully in the next month or two, we get a new GameCube game added to the service, because they are just dropping them way too slow, in my opinion. And then if not, at the bare minimum, in September at that next Nintendo Direct. So now I want to show you something that people are calling a leak. I don't know if I would go as far to say it is a leak, but it is interesting, especially from the person it's coming from. So this is coming from resynced Talks, which is more of like an industry insider. Some stuff they get right, some stuff they're very specific with and it comes true. And I've also heard or read some stuff they say never just happens at all. So take this with a grain of salt. Now, this is for Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. Yeah, I'm pretty sure when the game was coming out, they said like at this time it's not coming to the Nintendo Switch 2, or it's not coming to the Nintendo Switch 2. But that doesn't mean indefinitely. Like, let's just keep it a buck here. Ubisoft, Nintendo consoles. It's gonna happen. It's just going to happen. That's all I can say. So let me show you this post quickly. It's just a post on Twitter where he has a mock-up of the box art, and yeah, I would say it looks pretty good. So You know, a lot of people are thinking that this is like a straight up hint or a leak that this game is coming. And I think it is, man. I think this game already sold 3 million copies in like a week. From all the gameplay I've seen, it looks fantastic. I was actually at Walmart today and I seen that it was only $60, which I think is a pretty fair price, all things considered. This is actually one of the last games I beat on my Switch before the Switch 2 came out. And the original game, it just holds up so well. I think it is the best Assassin's Creed game of all time. Definitely the best pirate game of all time. And it would just be a dream to play this on the Switch 2. So I'm not even kidding. I don't even think it would be like before the end of the year that we could see this showing up on the Switch 2. So whether this is an actual hint that this is coming out or not, it's almost irrelevant to me. I'm almost using this as like a segue just to talk about the game and if I think it's coming to the Switch 2. And to be honest, I do. Okay, so the real reason I'm making this video is to talk about some Zelda news. If we go back to Friday, I believe, or maybe Thursday night, there was a leak going around that the Ocarina of Time remake pre-order date had leaked out from GameStop. And if my memory serves me correctly, it was going to be August 4th and it was going to be $60. And everything about that sounds believable. I believe that is a Tuesday, so people are thinking, well, that Tuesday we will get a Zelda Direct. And I thought, sure, that sounds awesome. But you know, anything that sounds awesome, it just never happens. So first, let's debunk that leak, which I do think makes sense, and then follow it up with another leak that's even more exciting to that. So who cares about that one? But first, let's debunk it. So this is coming from Nate the Hate, who says, no, GameStop didn't leak the pre-order date nor price for The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. For whatever reason, Google is pulling the release date and pricing information for Beast of Reincarnation, which releases on August 4th and the standard edition retails for $60. So, yeah, unfortunately, that's probably not true. At the same time, you know, who knows, it could be, but it's probably not true. Now, what's actually interesting about this is one of my subscribers from Norway was able to pre-order the game as soon as it was announced. And they told me normally Nintendo Switch 2 games in Norway, I believe in USD are about the same price here. He said $50 to $60, but I'm going to assume also $70. But he pre-ordered the game for $90, which I don't think is going to be the price, so maybe they'll refund him the difference. But recently, and if I can show you the pictures, I will, I'll put it on the screen. He said they increased the pre-order price by $10. So they had charged him one fee for the pre-order already, and then recently out of just nowhere, maybe like a week or two ago, or a couple of days ago, I can't remember the exact time, they charged him an extra $10 for the pre-order, which makes me think it was going to be $60, or like that was what people were thinking, but it's probably going to be actually $70. And if any game is going to be $70, I think this is one of those games that is worth it. A lot of people are thinking, well, if it's $60, it's going to be a one-to-one remake, just like new can of paint type of thing. But even if it was only $60, I still don't think that's the case, because Nintendo is making an actual spectacle out of this, you know what I mean? But it seems like it's probably going to be closer to $70 if I had to guess. Now let's get into another Zelda leak, which is just more exciting. You have to say, whoa, there's some caveats here because who the leak is coming from, but it's so specific. And I always say when there is a specific leak where you have an exact date for something, that will put your credibility on the line. And if you're a game leaker, your credibility is your currency. So then it's time to pay attention to this stuff. And they have got a couple specific things right recently, I guess. As reported by CBR, which I have no idea who that is, prominent Nintendo leaker Nash Weedle shared more information about the Ocarina of Time remake. During a recent episode of the Attack the Backlog podcast, Nash Weedle claimed that Nintendo is planning its first look gameplay trailer for the Ocarina of Time remake on September 9th. The leak claims that Nintendo is not planning to share any more information about the remake before the trailer, with a playable demo potentially being made available later in September at Tokyo Game Show. So yeah, very, very specific stuff. In the Zelda leak video I made a couple of days ago, I was saying if that pre-order date was true on August 4th, I could see Nintendo and Sony promoting the Zelda movie at this new Spider-Man movie, like as a trailer in the beginning. And then that would lead us into the pre-order date. So it would kind of kick off like the Zelda anniversary. But if that isn't a true pre-order date, then I don't think any of that stuff is actually going to happen. So do I think September 9th is when we get the first look at this? Sure. I mean, I don't see why not. I'm not saying like it is going to happen, but do I think it's possible? Sure. I just don't see why that wouldn't be a thing that would happen. You know what I mean? And like I was saying, if you're a quote unquote game leaker and you give us a specific date and that date comes and goes, then, you know, it doesn't look good on you. This isn't one of those leaks where it's like, hey, next week something is coming from Nintendo, and then Nintendo either, you know, drops a new trailer to a game or adds something to Nintendo Online or releases Nintendo Music something or another. Then you're like, that's what I was talking about. That's just a vague thing that anybody can say. So September 9th, a gameplay trailer for the Ocarina of Time remake. I'm just saying it sounds plausible, and that's not too much further away. So hopefully we get some information sooner than later, because I cannot wait to play this. I'm so excited that I'm actually replaying Breath of the Wild for the 5th time, although it's the first time on my Switch too, just because I can't stop playing Zelda. This will be my 3rd or 4th Zelda game I will beat in 2026 already. So I cannot wait for this. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Because your opinion matters most. So in the comments below, let me know what you guys are thinking. Do you think we get just no information at all, and then Nintendo will say like, hey, tomorrow's a gameplay trailer or a Zelda event? Or do you think we start getting some Zelda news here and there before? When do you think we see the Zelda movie trailer? I would just love to hear your thoughts and opinions. And if you made it to this part of the video, truly all the way at the end, if you could do me a favor, hit a like and subscribe on the way out. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter on the way out, and consider becoming a channel member, because it is the ultimate way to support this community, and I'd really appreciate it. And you guys know me, I'll see you very soon with a new video. Peace.